Jeb Bush is headed to Iowa today, taking a victory lap after charming viewers on The Tonight Show.
We face an important election in 2016. Whoever we choose will be tasked with changing the course of our country and whipping America into shape.
You hear that, America? Jeb Bush just said he wants to whip you 50 Shades of Grey style.
Jimmy, I think I speak for all Americans when I say, ew.
Jimmy just got bushwhacked.
It's just so funny. Okay, I'm stopping. I'm not going to laugh anymore. Another reason for Bush to celebrate, perhaps. A new Quinnipiac poll shows Mr. Bush closing in on Hillary Clinton in Florida, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. So let's talk about this with CNN political commentator and host of the Ben Ferguson Show, Ben Ferguson, and director at the University of Virginia Center for Politics, Larry Sabato. Welcome, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here. So Ben, I got to say, Jeb Bush was charming on Jimmy Fallon. He sort of shed like that Mr. Bland thing he has, and he became Mr. Personality. How much does this help?
Yeah. Oh, it helps tremendously, especially for a campaign that's needing a second shot in the arm to get him back up in the poll numbers after he's dropped. Part of that drop is because so many new people have officially announced, and when you officially announce, you go up in the polls. But this is him becoming Jeb instead of Jeb Bush. As we saw with his campaign, they want you to understand that he's not George Bush 41 or 43. He's his own guy, and they want you to get to know him. And putting him on a late night show and having this humor, I mean, you couldn't help but like the guy more after watching this and seeing that he could have some fun with Jimmy Fallon. I think it's a very smart political move, and I think it's going to help him in the polls.
And sadly, Larry, I agree with Ben, but this is the way the world is now in the world of politics. You just go on the Jimmy Fallon show and you improve your chances.
Carol, I have to disagree. I really don't think it makes much impact at all. There may be some mild short-term impact. Campaigns think everything matters. They think these appearances and comedy show guest slots and so on have some kind of impact. Look, presidential elections are about big, big things. And frankly, some of those big things will help the Republican nominee, whether it's Bush or somebody else, and other ones will hurt the Republican nominee. Same with Hillary Clinton if she's the Democratic nominee. The big things are what really, really matter. Only in the case of a near tie, you know, another 2,000 where 537 votes in Florida made all the difference, would an image, a candidate image created by appearances on TV shows really make a difference.
Okay, that's a beautiful segue into my next topic, because we have to talk about Donald Trump, right? You both watched his news conference, I'm sure.
No, we don't,
wow.
Really.
No, I know. I wish I didn't, but I must for just a second. So bear with me now, because he just says such outrageous things, like he totally disrespected Mr. Bush and Mr. Rubio in his own particular Trump-style way. Listen.
Jeb Bush, I'd call him a stiff. I mean, I think he's a stiff. I watch him. I think he's somebody that doesn't want to do what he's doing. I don't know, is he being forced to do it? Marco Rubio. I think he's highly overrated. I think he's an overrated person. I look at him, they say he's a young... I said, I don't think he's a young Ronald Reagan. And besides that, I have far better hair than he does.
Okay, so Larry, take it away.
Look, this is why Republicans hope that somehow, some way, he doesn't get on that debate stage August the 6th. The 10 top polling candidates will be there. Right now, Trump is at 4% and he's number 9. So it wouldn't take much for him to drop below that number 10, and that's what the Republican leadership hopes. If he is on the debate stage, I think, frankly, a candidate or candidates will gain by taking him on.
Interesting. You know, Carly Fiorina was on New Day this morning, and she said not to underestimate Donald Trump. Listen.
I think Donald Trump, who shouldn't be underestimated, by the way, but I think he's hitting on issues that Americans care about. Americans clearly believe the economy isn't growing quickly enough, and not enough of them are employed in jobs they like. They're worried and afraid of what's going on in the world, not just ISIS, but other issues as well.
So, Ben, do you agree? So Mr. Trump talks about having $9 billion and he's a great businessman, and
I think you don't underestimate how disruptive he can be to a campaign and to this entire presidential campaign. I talked to 5 different presidential campaigns in the last 24 hours. All of them seem to be incredibly united on doing everything they can to let people know about some of the negatives of Donald Trump to try to get him outside of that top 10. I don't think I've ever seen this many campaigns united in one decision, and that is, we don't want Donald Trump on this stage. We don't want him to make a mockery of this process. We don't want to have to deal with him at all. And that's the biggest threat he is a total distraction and an embarrassment to the presidential contest. He's a narcissist that is obsessed with disrupting and maybe just terrorizing some of these other candidates and trying to make their lives hell. And I think that's his biggest threat, because people hate Donald Trump. He's probably the most hated Republican candidate of my lifetime, and I think he loves having that badge around his neck, and he's proud of it, and that's all he's going to try to do is make other people's lives miserable.
So, Larry, can other Republican candidates push Donald Trump from the stage?
Well, they could. You know, the polls that are going to be used to judge who gets on the debate stage are going to be taken essentially that first week or first few days of August, late July, early August. So I suppose the candidates could either air negatives against Donald Trump or air positives for themselves to try to reshape the top 10. That's always possible. But, you know, it is true. I think Ben is right. Donald Trump is a narcissist. But again, to be fair, I have to say that narcissism is a very common illness among presidential candidates.
I think you're right about that. Ben Ferguson, Larry Sabato, thanks so much. I appreciate it. And by the way, Donald